In this video, I'm going to be doing an overview of Bank20 number 3. Hopefully by this time, you are starting to see the pattern and see questions that keep coming up, and maybe you're remembering the explanations from before and now you're starting to get them correct. The whole point of Bank20 is that you start getting these same types of questions over and over, and so each time you're getting a few more questions correct until you reach 20, and then you're consistently getting 19 or 20 of them correct. That's the goal. So if you are not watching, which if you're watching this video, you've probably watched all of the explanations, but make sure you're actually taking the time to do that so that you can improve your score over time. So let's start with number 1, and again, I go pretty quickly through these. I'm not going to reteach the material. So 3x over 2 plus 12 equals 4. So first thing we would do is subtract 12. And that gives us -8. Anytime that you have a fraction is equal to some number, I always recommend putting a 1 under that and then cross multiplying. So 3x times 1 is 3x, and then we say equals -8 times 2 is -16. And then if we divide both sides by 3, we get x equals -16 over 3, which is B. Number 2, we have the area, and so all we're going to do is just divide up this figure. So we have 25, 15, 15, and 5. And you may have done it a couple of different ways, but if I cut it off right here, that's going to mean this side is 15 and this side is 10. And I knew this was 15 because I looked across the shape. So we have a 15 by 15, which is 225, and a 10 by 5, which is a 50. So if we add those together, we get 275, which is H. All right, number 3. So we have 5 entrees, 4 sides, and 6 desserts. And we want to know how many different combinations there are. And just like always, we take 5 times 4 times 6, which is 120, or J. All right, number 4, we have 2x minus 3 squared. And we want to write that out in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So we need to actually multiply this out. So we're going to write 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. Because when I square something, that means I multiply it by itself. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times -3 is -6x. 3 times -3 times 2x, -6x. And -3 times -3 is +9. So 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. So 4 is my A, -12 is B, 9 is C. And it's asking A plus B plus C. So 4 plus -12 plus 9 is 1, which is C. why does it keep doing that. All right, so number 5. I want this to go away. There we go. So if A equals 25% of B, so 0.25 B, then 135%, no, not 0.135, it would be 1.35. So 135% of B, so 1.35 B, is what percent of A? All right. So, couple things you could do here. Questions like this where it just seems really wordy, I like to pick numbers to plug in and just kind of figure that out. So, let's say that A is 1. So if A is 1, I'm just making this up, then B would have to be 4. Because 1 is 25% of 4. And so then let's take 1.35 times 4. We get 5.4 is what percent of A? So what percent of 1? That would be 540%, which is D. That one was a little more confusing, I will say. All right, number 6. So coordinates, we have M, N, and then we have a midpoint. Oh, let's not make that M. Let's make it P. All right, so the endpoints are -13 and -4, and then 5, 4. So if we have the two endpoints, then you do the midpoint formula. Sometimes I'm giving you the midpoint and asking for the end point, and so you do it a little different. But this time we got the ends, so the midpoint is what we're finding. So we do -13 plus 5 divided by 2, and -4 plus 4 divided by 2. So that would be -8 over 2 and 0 over 2, which is -4, 0. And it's asking for the x-coordinate, which was -4. All right. Number 7. All right, we're just going to solve for y. So 3x minus y equals 5. We just want to get y by itself. So let's first distribute the 3. 3, that should be equals. 3x minus 3y equals 5. First thing you should have done is subtract 3x. So -3y equals 5 minus 3x. And then we divide by -3. So y equals -5/3. Those would cancel, so make plus x. And if our answers are actually x minus 5/3. So those mean the same thing, which is A. All right, number 8. This one trips up a lot of people. So absolute value, first off, you get everything on the same side, or get, like that -4 needs to get over, I need to add it to both sides. So we started with x squared minus 12, absolute value, minus 4 equals 0. So first thing I need to do is add 4. X squared minus 12 equals 4. And then I take what's inside the absolute value set it equal to both 4 and -4. So x squared over here equals 16. So x is 4 or -4. And then over here, if I add 12, we get x squared equals 8. And now we need to take the square root. None of those say square root of 8. So if you don't remember how to simplify those radicals, you could just type in square root of 8 in your calculator, get a decimal, and then see which of those answer choices also match square root of 8. But I know that 4 goes into 8, and 4 is a perfect square, and then the square root of 4 is 2. So 2 radical 2. Now this question does ask for an irrational number, and even though I see 4 on there, that's not irrational. So I'm going with 2 radical 2, which is C. All right, number 9. So we have a circle, and the circumference is 17. So we have points. So let's start with A. B is 6 units counterclockwise from A. So let's just put B there, and that's 6 units. C is 2 units clockwise from A. So clockwise goes to the right. Oh, let's see, 2 units. D is 9 units clockwise from A. So over here, D, so if it's 9 units, we already have 2, so this would make 7 more. 7 and 2 is 9. And we want to know what order the points are, starting with A, going clockwise. So A, C, D, B, which is J. Number 10, I'm pretty sure we've had this exact question before, but it's just plugging in numbers. 5 plus 2 minus -3 times 2 plus -3. Just type that in your calculator and you get -10. Number 11. All right, so we have 5 scores that total 429. And we want to know what value we would need to get on the 6th test, and we want to have an average of 85. All right, so we're going to take, we already have 429 points, and we're going to add that 6th score to that. That's how we average. You take all of your 6 scores. So we already knew 5 was 429. We're adding a 6th score, and then we're going to divide by 6. That's an average, and we want that equal to 85. So it's J. Number 12, we're asking how tall the ramp is, and this is a Pythagorean triple. So you could do Pythagorean theorem, but if you remember the Pythagorean triple, 5, 12, 13, those were 3 values that always form a right triangle, and they come up a lot. 3, 4, 5 is another common one. But if I saw 12 and 13 and my mind said Pythagorean triple, the other side is 5. If you didn't know that, you could do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So like 12 squared plus b squared equals 13 squared, and you could solve that down to get b equals 5. 13 Okay, I'm going to draw this figure out. That was a horrible line. Okay, so this is 25. A, B, C, D, E. All right, it tells me AD, BD, and BC are all the same length. Doesn't look that way in my picture. And the angle measure up here is 25 degrees. And we want to know this one where I've got my question mark. So we have lots of isosceles triangles. So when two sides are the same, that means that the angles across from them are the same. So this is 25. And we know in a triangle, all three angle measures add up to 180. So in this triangle, if I do 180 minus 25 minus 25, we get 130. Now, here I have supplementary angles, which also add up to 180. So 180 minus 130 is 50. So that means because these two sides are the same, that means both of these angles are 50. And supplementary angles here means this one is going to be 130. If you've not had geometry, that probably doesn't make a lot of sense to you, but you should remember supplementary angles in geometry. So 130, which is J. All right, number 14, we have x squared plus 2x plus 1 times x minus 1. Anytime that we get more than two terms, I like to do a Punnett square. And so I'm going to do a Punnett square. And I'm going to put my 3 terms down the side and my 2 terms down up the top. So x squared, 2x, and 1 down the side, and then x minus 1 on the top. And what we do, each little square here tells me, well, it never does the undo. So each square, I won't miss anything. So like this first one, I'm going to multiply x squared times x to get x cubed. And then this next one would be x squared times negative 1, which is negative 1x squared. And then this becomes 2x squared, negative 2x, x, and negative 1. And then that way we don't miss anything. We can combine our like terms. X cubed plus x squared minus x minus 1, which is A. All right, number 15. We're just plugging in 10. So 10 squared plus 12 over 10 minus 6. That would be 112 over 4. Just type that in your calculator. 112 divided by 4 is 28. Number 16. We have 10 red, 10 blue, 10 yellow, which is 30 total. And we want, okay, so we take turns drawing a card from the deck. So far, 3 yellow cards have taken out. So now there's 7 yellow and 27 total. And we want to know the probability that the 4th person will draw a yellow card. So there's 7 yellow left and 27 total cards. So 7 over 27 is B. 17. Slope. Subtract your y's on top. So 1 minus negative 3. X is on bottom. Negative 4 minus negative 6. That would be 4 over 2, which is 2. 18. Okay, so our angles form an arithmetic sequence, which means like the first one would be x, the second one would be x plus 10 because it's 10 more than the previous, and then the next one would be x plus 10 because it's 10 more than the previous. So this is 3x plus 30. All angles add up to 180. So 3x equals 150. So x equals 50. And so we want to know the first one, so 50. So our angles would be 50, 60, 70. Number 19. We do the 2 times 5, which is 10. And then the x's, when you multiply variables, you add the exponents, so to the 11th. So 10x to the 11th. All right, and then number 20, we're looking at a graph. You should see that the y-intercept is 5. There's only one answer choice with 5 as the x-intercept, and that's E. Y equals 2x plus 5. They made it way too easy for you. If you have any questions, let me know.